Tomorrow, more $16,000 phone calls and the conclusion of The Green Beret starring John Wayne. You have yourself a nice night tomorrow. I want you to win, but you've got to meet me right back here at the $16,000 movie.
Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. The important news tonight comes from two opposite sides of the globe. First, from the tiny Caribbean island of Grenada. Last week, the government there was overthrown. Early today, while most of us slept, American troops landed on Grenada to protect 1,000 Americans there from what President Reagan called an atmosphere of violent uncertainty. Late word is that at least 2 American military men have been killed in the fighting. We're going to have team coverage of the Grenada invasion in a moment. Karen?
Nolan, I'm here live at the Wyoming Valley Mall to sample public opinion on the use of troops in Grenada and to get reaction to Sunday's bombing of an American military barracks in Beirut, Lebanon. Late word from Beirut now puts the death toll at 214. And tragically, we have word of the first Marine from this area known to have died Sunday. Captain Walter Wind Jr. of Wilkes-Barre had been scheduled to leave Lebanon in 20 days. Captain Wind was the son of Luzerne County Civil Defense Director Walter Wind Sr. For 2 other families, though, better news. They learned today that their sons are wounded but alive. Those 2 wounded Marines are Lance Corporal Charles Molesky of Frackville in Schuylkill County and Lance Corporal David Rollison from Waymort in Wayne County. To the family of Captain Walter Wind Jr., our sympathies. Nolan?
Everyone woke up this morning to the news that U.S. armed forces had invaded the island of Grenada. Tonight, the Pentagon is saying there was fierce fighting. 2 American soldiers are reported dead, and there is no word on how many were injured. 30 Russian and hundreds of Cubans who were building an airfield there were captured. Today's invasion took most of the world by surprise.
Foreign troops began landing in our country, our sovereign country, our dear homeland. Foreign troops began landing this morning. Our armed forces are now engaging them in fierce battle. All Grenadians are asked to report immediately to our respective militia bases. All doctors, nurses, and medics report to the hospital immediately.
That was the broadcast this morning from Radio Free Grenada. The invasion of the tiny island was staged from the island of Barbados, just a short distance away. These pictures show support aircraft leaving the Bridgetown airport. As many as 1,900 U.S. Army Rangers and Marines invaded Grenada from the air. Later in the morning, President Reagan said this mission was aimed at ensuring the safety of some 1,000 Americans on the island and at restoring what he called democratic institutions on Grenada, an island whose nation's government was recently overthrown in a bloody coup.
But when I received reports that a large number of our citizens were seeking to escape the island, thereby exposing themselves to great danger, and after receiving a formal request for help, a unanimous request from our neighboring states, I concluded the United States had no choice but to act strongly and decisively. Let me repeat, the United States objectives are clear: to protect our own citizens, to facilitate the evacuation of those who want to leave, and to help in the restoration of democratic institutions in Grenada.
For those who are wondering where Grenada is, it's located in the eastern section of the Caribbean and is the southernmost island of a series of islands familiar to vacationers from the U.S. Newswatch 16 located a shortwave ham radio operator tuning in to reports from Grenada ham operators who are U.S. citizens. We sent reporter Dan Fiorucci to listen in on those reports and talks between a Wilkes-Barre minister and people on Grenada. Dan is live now from Westminster Presbyterian Church in Wilkes-Barre. Dan?
Nolan, at this hour, judging from the radio traffic that we can hear behind me, things are quiet on Grenada. It appears that most of the gunfire died down within the last few hours. But earlier this morning, that was not the case at all. At around noon, events were breaking fast and furious.
where the gunfire is directly out here, and maybe not more than 100 feet, 200 feet away. Over.
The voice you're hearing, that of an American medical student on the island of Grenada. He's tentatively been identified by Newswatch 16 as Mark Baratella, a former Wilkes College student.
There's obviously snipers surrounding the entire campus. Over.
Sources tell Newswatch that Baratella operates an amateur ham radio station at St. George's University Medical Center on Grenada.
There are Cobra gunships passing directly over at this moment. You can probably hear them. They're very close. Everybody has to move inward and onto the floors. Received. We're standing by, and until further developments, we will not transmit. He won't answer. He's on the floor.
This morning, the campus was the scene of intense sniper fire. Baratella warned American helicopter gunships to stay away.
There is quite a bit of fire right around the entire campus. Maybe they can divert it around us here some way instead of directly over us. Over. Okay, we'll get that message right away. Over.
Little tough to hear that at the end, but from the end there, he was warning American helicopter gunships to stay away. Throughout the day, no American medical students were killed or injured on the island of Grenada, and of course that's good news. But families there were worried anyway, American families, relatives of those who were in Grenada. Among them, the family of Michael Zaboski, who is a Wyoming. Today, Reverend Charles Hooker tried to reach Michael Zaboski over his two-way radio here. Reverend, any luck?
No, we weren't able to contact him directly, but we did hear from the student that all things were going well down there.
Indirectly, good news.
That's correct.
So at this point, we do have good news. No Americans were killed or injured today, at least not American civilians. Now over to you, Karen.
Okay, Dan, thank you. As you said, it was through those shortwave radio transmissions between Wilkes-Barre and Grenada that we have been able to find out that all of the medical students on that island are apparently safe. For the families of those students, a big relief tonight. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis spent the day with one of those families in West Wyoming, where the waiting has been a time of great tension.
At the Michael Zaboski home in West Wyoming, this was a day of waiting and watching. Waiting for any word from 22-year-old Michael Jr., a medical student on Grenada, and watching television news reports to try and learn more about the fate of the Americans on the tiny Caribbean island. Josephine Zaboski last heard from her son early Sunday morning with a disturbing phone call.
Didn't feel that he was himself on the telephone, right? In fact, his father asked him, what's your personal opinion of the situation on the island, and Michael just never even answered him.
Mrs. Zaboski tells me there were no signs of trouble on the island according to her son's letters and phone calls, but a Cuban airbase was being built very close to the school.
Just in the past couple letters, the noise from their blasting and building the airport's been really loud, I guess, and close.
Josephine Zaboski rode an emotional roller coaster for most of this day, hearing encouraging news, then conflicting reports about the medical students. But throughout the day, she kept thinking about her son and when he comes home for Christmas.
Just hope he's okay. I'm sure when he comes home, we're going to have a lot to hear.
There's a little bit of irony to this story here at the Zaboski house in West Wyoming. His sisters were telling me they saw a television news report about the political fates in Grenada last winter. They were kidding Michael that he shouldn't go, that it might be too dangerous. Little did everyone know that their cause for jokes before would be such a cause for concern right now. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, West Wyoming.
I'm here live at the Wyoming Valley Mall to get public reaction to what's going on in Lebanon and in Grenada. Sir, can you first tell me your name and your reaction?
Well, I'm Kevin Worthington from West Grand, and I'm certainly alarmed over the situation, but Karen, I think we should, here in America, back our allies and back our president as well on this situation.
Okay, so you don't have any bad feelings about our troops being in Grenada?
Well, it's not a good situation, but I think if that's our obligations, then we should fulfill them.
Okay, thank you. And your name, ma'am, and your reaction?
Ann Spagnola, and I feel it's a tragic loss of lives. My heart aches for their families, but I feel we do belong there.
We do belong in Grenada, you believe?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that's what these two people at the Wyoming Valley Mall think. And Nolan, I understand you have a phone survey to get more opinion on these matters.
That's right, Karen. Last night we attempted to get your opinion regarding our troops in Lebanon, but had telephone company trouble with the phone lines. Tonight, because of the Grenada situation on top of that, we'll again ask your opinion, but our question is a little different. We ask you to phone in your vote yes or no to this question. Do you support the increasing U.S. military presence around the world. If you say yes, you do support it, dial 1-900-210-3440. That's 1-900-210-3440 to vote yes. If you do not support the increasing U.S. military presence around the world, dial 1-900-210-3444. That's to vote no, 1-900-210-3444. Your call will cost you 50 cents. The phone lines are now open and will stay open until 9 o'clock tonight. We'll have results of our unscientific poll and how you feel on this issue on our update report at 11 o'clock. And we'll repeat these telephone numbers for you later in our newscast. Newswatch 16 will continue with more local news developments, and our own meteorologist Tom Clark will have the weather picture. Tom?
Okay, Nolan, outside now we have gray, melancholy skies, but we'll find out if they're going to bring any more rain or possibly even snow in the backyard when we come back.
He can do everyone from E.T. to Tootsie.
Tonight at 7.
And the weather situation is right now in our thoughts, so out to the backyard we go, and meteorologist Tom Clark.
Okay, Nolan, the mood of our weather kind of like the mood of the news lately. Let me show you the temperature outside now in this backyard. Gray, cloudy skies overhead. The mercury down to 49 degrees outside now. The humidity's up there pretty high, too. Damp air in this backyard. It's up, well, there's the reading there. Winds northeast, coming down 9 miles per hour, barometer now holding steady. The high today was 51 degrees, that's well below normal, which is 58 for the high. The low, 40 last night. Skies cleared out towards morning. And records 77 and 27. They still stand. That stream in the background is in Loyalsock, up in Lycoming County, just north of Williamsport. And those leaves dying a slow death in the cold water. Look at all the clouds over Pennsylvania once again today. A storm system has gone off the coast of New England. Colder air has come down out of Canada in our viewing area. It was colder today than it was yesterday. How about 81 degrees, though, down in Miami this afternoon? That's pretty nice. Look out in the west, too. Very nice weather out that way. Lots of sunshine in Denver. 70 degrees for the high this afternoon. But we're not good a shape as far as our weather. Now take a look here. These clouds coming down, but look up here. Another storm system coming down under the storm track out of southern Canada, and that storm will bring with it a much colder atmosphere on Thursday and a chance for some rain and perhaps a few of those flakes in the air in some of the mountains on Thursday. So this storm not helping things out much. I think we'll break into some of this air as we head into the weekend, which looks quite nice at this point. Our forecast for tonight looks like this. Well, some rain and drizzle I think will move in later tonight. We'll have a dry evening, though, however, but later on tonight it could get wet. 43 in Tunkhannock, 41 the low in Mountaintop tonight, 43 in Tamaqua, 44 the low in Sunbury, and out in Williamsport, 43 your low tonight. Now, tomorrow, gray skies will cover it. Some showers possible at times, maybe even some drizzle, but I don't think it'll be raining most of the time tomorrow. Kind of an ugly day, though. Look at that. 50 for the high in Scranton, 53 in Saylorsburg, down there in Monroe County, 52 Selinsgrove, 50 Muncie, 47 up in Troy, a northwest wind at about 12 miles per hour tomorrow. We have an approaching storm system coming down from Canada. High humidity still and cool temperatures. Your reflexes, well, with that low index, I would use all defensive driving skills when you're out tomorrow. Resistance to aches and pains will be low for some of us, and the mood index very low as well. Don't argue with someone you love tomorrow, okay? Cloudy tonight, 43 degrees, a passing shower or two, some drizzle, 50 tomorrow. Thursday, cold, raw, windy, only about the middle 40s for a high, some sprinkles of rain, and even some wet snowflakes likely over some of the highest elevations of northeastern Pennsylvania. Friday and Saturday, the weather improves, and then it warms up just a bit. We'll have more tonight at 11. Nolan?
Tom, I make it a point never to argue with someone I love.
That's good. Good practice.
Unless I can always win, that is.
Look at a local volleyball team that's hoping to bounce all the way to the top. Sports when we come back.
I'm Mike Stevens on the Pennsylvania Road for Newswatch 16, and I meet a lot of interesting people. A maker of some interesting gadgets. A very special group of bell ringers. A builder of some very fine furniture. Competitors in a rather unusual contest. Those are just some of the folks I've met so far. I hope you'll join me for a visit with some others on the Pennsylvania Road on Newswatch 16.
They're pretty proud of their volleyball team at Penn State Wilkes-Barre these days. What's the big deal? Well, going into tonight's round-robin tournament, the girls were 12-1 in the red here against Berks, but earlier tonight, their toughest competition of the year against York. They were all tied after 4 games, trailing in the 5th and deciding game. The Wilkes-Barre girls did what they've been doing all year. They pulled out the match 16-14. They went on to a sweep, and they now have a 15-1 record.
We just keep going, and I think endurance-wise, that's probably to our advantage. I think we can outlast almost any team of our caliber on a court because they have tremendous endurance and great concentration.
It's pretty tough, too, you know, at these 2-year schools to put a team together, but these girls have a slight advantage.
A lot of the team members I played with in high school, so we've played a lot in the past together, and we hope that we would do well. We have some really good hitters this year, I think, and I'm the only setter, so it's a different kind of, we run a different kind of offense than most other teams do. The hitting has just been excellent.
This weekend, the Penn State Wilkes-Barre girls will go to the State College to meet a couple of Western schools in the volleyball playoffs. They will go as Northeastern Pennsylvania's best team. Okay, the fish and game stuff for tomorrow, and since you're up right now, it may be too early to take advantage of the best times. Very early in the morning going to be the best time to go out tomorrow, and then a lot of little low peaks later on after that.
Newswatch 16 continues now with a recap of today's top stories.
And we'll also have those phone numbers for you once again.
David Terry from Scranton. I started my training in Northeastern Pennsylvania 7 years ago. And today I'm at Scranton's Nayog Park where I had my first bike race. Now I'm training for the 1984 Olympics. It take a lot of hard work and dedication to get to the Olympic Games, and we need your support. So please send your contribution to the United States Olympic Committee. Who knows, maybe you'll see me in Los Angeles next year.
A public service of WNEP-TV 16.
Thank you, Karen. Here again are those phone numbers to record your vote on our Newswatch 16 poll question. Do you support the increasing U.S. military presence around the world? If you do, phone yes by dialing 1-900-210-3440. That's to vote yes. If you don't, vote no by dialing 1-900-210-3444. That is to vote no. The phone numbers will stay open until 9 p.m. It'll cost you 50 cents to vote, and we'll give you the results of how you voted on the update tonight at 11. And that's Newswatch 16 for this Tuesday.
ABC's World News Tonight is next. For the team, thanks for being with us.
Good night.